Okay, so namaste, ladies and gents. I'm going to start with a different deck. So, I wish it would come out. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So, so this is the Scarabia deck, and this is the Steampunk. Okay, so let me see. I'll do this as the opposite of yesterday. So I'm going to shuffle the cards and shuffle away from the flames. So I'm going to do a reading for the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. Okay. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. Okay, so here we go. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's damaged. 8, 9. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So first card out is the Tower for the Feminine. And then we have the Knave of Pentacles. So the Novice. The Novice. And that's a Yin-Yang Pentacle. Then we have the Judgment. The Judgment, the Seven of Wands. So this is requiring mastery. And then it's, well, Seven of Wands is kind of troublesome. And then we have the Five of Chalices. And the Three of Chalices. The Four of Pentacles, that's a damaged card. And the Lovers, so interesting. And so for the masculine, we have for the masculine, split the deck. So we create our own reality. So we gotta really look at our fears and see what our fears are creating. So what's this? 7 of Swords and the 10 of Cups. Now, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Can I just say I split the deck and there was a 7 of Swords with the 10 of Cups. And at the bottom of this deck is another 7 of Swords. So there's treachery on both sides for the masculine and feminine. Here, look, I know the 10 of Cups is there now. I'm not dismissing that by any means. But there is this treachery here. It's kind of saying to me that it's like both the feminine and the masculine are blindfolded and they're actually killing each other and being deceptive to each other because they can't recognize who the enemy is. It's like, oh my God, I'm going back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith again. I'm literally going back to that movie again. But in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's like they're both assassins, but they're married and they don't know each other as an assassin, so they're both covering it up. And in one scene, they start to find out that they're both assassins. So then both of their companies, the corporate heads of their companies, both are threatened by that the two of them will come together. So they're threatened that the two of them will come together because they were the best in both, out of both the companies, they were the best. So they actually, they sent them on an assignment and they didn't know the name of the person. So they sent them on an assignment to kill each other. They sent them on an assignment to kill each other, but they didn't know that it was the persons. They were given like a faulty ID or a faulty name or something. So like they've orchestrated this event for them to cross paths in a kind of war zone or somewhere. And so next thing she kind of opens the van of the helicopter and she's about to shoot the target of who it is, and next thing she realizes it's him. So anyway, things get chaotic after that because they have to because she has to do it in a way to make it look like it was a mistake, or like she had to try to get him, do you know what I mean, like make it look to them that she was genuinely going to kill him, and and without harming him, like, so that they wouldn't suspect her of betraying them or whatever. And so anyway, they kind of they both get home to the house. And they're both really like nervous, but like because they know if they come together, or if they admit their identities, then the two companies that they work for will be after them, so this is kind of spirals into the third stage of the movie, like where they kind of identify each other, and acknowledge each other's real identity. And so then instead of killing each other, they're actually on the run from other people that are after them, So, I mean, like if you were to look at the movie as a metaphor, like the last scene is like a massive shootout, like, and they're using one another as shields to kill off all their enemies, like, so like, I don't know, this immediately came to mind when I saw 2 7 of Swords on either side of the masculine and feminine, right? So it's like she seems to have, she's got 5, let me see. No, she's got 5 swords and there's 2 above the window. So that's like the institution has 2 of hers. She's stolen 5. The institution has 2. and he's stolen 5, and this camp has 2. So, but together they have 10 of swords. So it's almost as if when they come together, someone's going to have to die, you know. So that's kind of tragic as well. And that's kind of tragic too, because they've 2 5s of swords, so that's the 10 of swords. So it's almost like their love is so absolute that they're like a massive threat, and they're a massive threat, and they like have serious figureheads after them, you know. And but it's like when it's like almost like they've been circling around each other to avoid the 10 of swords. And you know, they're like avoiding each other, they're circling around each other to avoid the 10 of swords, but it's like inevitable that like a sacrifice will be made for them to come together. And that's kind of the tragedy of union, you know, like it's like you know, you have to break eggs in order to make an omelette, this kind of thing. And like this is kind of the tragedy of their wisdom, you know. It's like, you know, you try and avoid the best position because you don't want to sacrifice anyone, so you end up circling around the important position, like to avoid anyone being killed, you know. And so there's like a kind of precious sacrifice going on here. And they're both wearing red hats, which is interesting. And the decks couldn't be further apart in terms of symbolism, but like there's but there is, I feel like because of the paths that they've taken, their union will cost them something. This is what I'm getting. I know it's terrible, but it's terrible. Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. There's a 10 of swords here. I don't believe it. It's a 10 of swords. Wheel of Fortune, look. Fuck. I don't believe it. Knight of Swords. 9 of Cups. So far it's making sense. 9 of Cups, 2 of Cups. So I'm going to leave it at that now, because I think that makes sense to me. Fuck. So we have I'm going to just put these down. I can't believe this is happening. I just can't believe it. So these are the 2 of swords, and literally like the bottom of the deck was like the 10 of swords, like I said, and I was only referring to the 2 5s. I in no means thought that there would be a 10 of swords at the bottom of the deck. So because of the decisions they made when they first separated, right? Because of, and the decisions they had to make to sacrifice or to protect other people close to them, that there was a sacrifice made, that there will be or was a sacrifice made in order for them to come together, which is tragic. But I guess, and then there's like the Wheel of Fortune. I haven't even lifted the masculine cards yet. Like there's the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, and then there's there was the Knight of Swords, the 2 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. So no, I think that's fuck. So I'm kind of stunned with that, because it's exactly what I was saying. So it's like this loss, or the grief, or this loss, or this deceit that has led them to kind of treachery is actually going to it's like the wheel is going to turn again, you know, and the wheel is going to turn, and the higher the higher powers are going to recognize the sacrifices that they made, you know. And this is like Sphinx, monkey, and man. So this is like, it's like this is like the higher self, and the monkey is like the monkey mind, and then the physical human being, you know. And then we have the Knight of Swords coming in on an eagle, very fast. So this is like really fast action, someone entering your life really quickly. And then we have the Nine of Cups, which is like emotional contentment, like and then we have the Two of Cups, which is like a reunion or an encounter or a meeting, and has like two fish here and a lion. Two fish and a lion. And it has a kind of a clada here as well, a heart and a crown on it. So, you know, that it just reminds me of the Irish clada. And there's a symbol for Pisces here is the two fish. And I was just listening to Magenta Pixie's Dream Into lately, and there was so much imagery came up of Neptune and the Piscean age. And so there's a lot of interference, right, preventing the Piscean age, and there's interference in unions and interference in light beings coming together for the greater good. And there's, you know, it's gonna happen eventually, but there's kind of roadblocks that are preventing union. So this is just, I'm stunned by this, that it was literally what I said, like. So actually that was the other 10 of Cups, I might as well put that there. I'm gonna pull 3 cards on that 10 of Swords. So it's Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Empress. Oh my god. Oh my god. The 5 of Cups is the bottom of the deck. So this is like Queen of Swords, right? I see that as the feminine. Queen of Cups. And the Mask and the Empress. I always see the Empress in this deck as a karmic, because just the image of it is very provocative, and she's like a light in her hand and stuff. Like it's like and I love the Queen of Swords in this because she's really angelic, you know, and graceful. And I just think this like Queen of Cups is like a kind of she just sees me as like a sinister Nazi Germany kind of defeating, like all or nothing kind of feeling of her, I guess. And there's what looks like the Wheel of Fortune behind her too, you know. So she has input on the changes that are happening, like whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not. And it's interesting that came over the 10 of Swords. Like, so I feel there's deceit and betrayal here among women in particular. But it's I'm actually going to get more on that now because that's bizarro. 8 of Cups is separation. The Chariot. The Page of Cups. So this looks like the 8 of Cups is like separation, isolating yourself from toxic people. And the Chariot is like making advances in whatever way you can. Making advances in whatever way you can. And Page of Cups is almost like the beginning of something. It's like the beginning of a friendship or the beginning of something new, or It's like toasting to a new position almost, you know. And even though it's the Page of Cups, there is like an aeronautical, like a fighter jet plane going on in the background. And she's very serious demeanor on her face as well. Like, so, but this Chariot is promising, but I do feel there's another separation going to happen because of this Ten of Swords. And, and I feel there's something tragic kind of after happening or is happening. And it's a lot of deceit and tragedy, you know. Deceit and tragedy, I feel. Haven't even turned over the masculine cards yet. Deceit and tragedy, I feel... I'm going to pull another 3 cards now for this. I can't believe I'm doing this. 10 of Wands. So this is almost like you're leaving the position of Queen of Swords, right? And you're separating yourself from your royalties, shall we say. And it's like you've become a novice again because you've abandoned the royalties. And you know, there's a Knight of Swords here now, and there was a Knight of Swords here as well. So this seems to be the symbol for the masculine, because coming in really strong, whether it's a new person or the same person, right? But I feel here now this is another Knight of Swords coming in, and this is like a kind of well-traveled army official. But isn't it funny, like it has the kind of Nazi symbolism, but it's with swords. And like, I don't think the Nazis would have used swords, it was all guns, you know. So there is a kind of cross-cultural symbolism going on here, like, because swords would have been from an older generation, like, you know, like pre-industry and pre-trade, you know, like this would have been an older form of combat. And so there's a kind of almost a sense, I'm thinking of time travel, you know, like and there's a sense of time here with this as well. It's almost like a time machine that she has here, and so she can move around into a different timeline if she wants. But I think the feminine has that wisdom anyway, and she's had that wisdom in the past, and maybe that's returning to her. The wisdom of knowing she can enter into a different timeline anytime she wants. She can alter her experiences, like by a gesture or a thought or a consideration, you know, or an encounter could you know, by like controlling your encounters and what you're doing, and you know who you encounter and what you're going to do, you know, can alter the course of your life. So Knight of Swords. But I feel like she's a novice again. This is kind of a authority figure, I feel, and she's being watched almost. But I feel like she's a novice here again. Look, the cards are after falling on the ground. Oh God, give us a look. I think that's actually another mirror image of the Two of Wands. And the Ace of Wands. What's this one? The Ace of Pentacles. So, and this has a vibe of kind of Halloween as well, if that gives you a kind of timeline. is that? Right. And so this is a vibe of Halloween too, but it feels like the feminine is moving forward anyway there big time. She's moving away from the Queen of Cups and whatever influence, this negative influence was on her. I feel the whole experience she's had in the last couple of years has been negatively driven by childhood traumas, you know? And it's kind of brought up a lot for the masculine too, I guess. And oh, and this is like a figure of authority here, and this is like an empress. So this is like a feminine in power. Ooh, it's so spooky. So, but I wouldn't like to be her, and I wouldn't like to be him. I think she's a much better option. So I think this is a sign that the feminine is going in the right direction. And so, and there is a kind of a line, there is a line up here too with the Queen of Swords and the Chariot, and then the Knight of Swords. So there's a kind of a line up here, an alignment here. So interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to turn over. Sorry now for that digression, but I'm going to turn over these cards here now and see what they reveal, because this was a bit of a digression, right? So let me see. Okay. So the masculine, right? So this is the bit that we didn't read. The Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups. Ales, wines, and spirit. The Nine of Cups is normally like being emotionally content, right? Normally. But underneath the Tower, it would suggest that it's a kind of boozing world, you know? It's a kind of boozing world, you know? It's like the whole boozing world is really disturbing anyway. Like, I once worked in a bar where I was left in there on my own, and the bar was the length of the function room. And it was literally like being at war. People were so desperate for drinks. They'd nearly climb over the bar to get it off me. And this kind of reminds me of it. And I feel like that's the world the masculine is in now. He's just boozing it, you know, and drowning in it, in whatever losses that have occurred, like, you know, if losses occur for the feminine, they tend to occur for the masculine, and vice versa, you know. So then it's like he's kind of on death's door, or his health isn't good. And for the feminine, this is like a novice. She's probably out of the ill health stage, and she's coming into a new beginning here. Whereas and she's kind of humbled herself as well, it seems. But this is the masculine now. It's almost like his health is weary, you know. Or he's needing to rest, or he's in trouble, or, you know, he's in danger maybe. I got a feeling with that card too. But then there's like the Judgment in the foreseeable future for the feminine. And then there's the Four of Wands for the masculine. So it's like health is restored, or he's given another opportunity, or maybe they both are. Then we have the Five of Swords underneath the Seven of Wands. Again, this is like the central card in the reading is deceit. Like Seven of Wands is like a difficult time, and Five of Wands is deceit. You know, selling swords. You know, he's like a sword salesman, like, you know, just... It looks like she's handing him the sword, though, which is interesting, like she's pawning it off. So then we have the Five of Cups for the masculine, and this is just the loss and grief of it, and grief of everything. And there's this other, it's like the inverted pentagram too, which is like materialism. It's like the grief of taking the wrong path and having your dreams thwarted. It's like, I did the wrong fucking thing, you know? But I don't think it's independent of the masculine. I think it's the feminine as well. Oh, this is the feminine anyway. All right, it is the feminine. Okay. So I think the feminine is just dealing with her grief as best as she can, and then there's a reunion here of friendships, and an exchange of goodwill. It seems. It's weird here because this is like an exchange of goodwill, but I still feel the path's still a bit thwarted with all this smoke and, you know, pollution and kind of... It's like trying to find hope in a difficult situation, I think, you know. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. So, the Knight of Wands for the feminine. So this is like regaining strength after a time of grief. And for the masculine then, it's the Four of Pentacles. So holding on to his money. This is like automata though. It's like it only works if you put money into it. So it's like... it's basically saying, I think it's saying that the masculine is going to be careful where he puts his values in future. He's going to think about where he puts his money, where he puts his buck, and to whose hand. He's going to double think. He's going to double think into whose hand he's going to put his money. So I think that's kind of a profound message for the masculine, because he's this is kind of after the scandal, kind of. This is what happens when he recovers from all this sickness and unwell and unrest. And this is the solution he comes to. He's going to be very careful what he does with his, what he thinks is precious. Eight of Swords for the masculine, and the Three of Cups. Three of Cups for the feminine. And then we have the World under the Four of Pentacles. And then we have the Lovers and the King of Cups. That's just wild. So, hang on a second, let me grasp myself. So for the feminine, we have the Three of Cups. And like, this can be like women celebrating, right? So it could be women out drinking or whatever. But I think the Three of Cups, it's very bordering on kind of gossip and just the negative parts of the feminine in a masculine world, like, and how vicious they can be. And, you know, and then you add booze in to fuel it. And all kinds of terrible things can come out of it, you know. So like then we have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords for the masculine. So he's feeling trapped. He's feeling trapped. Maybe he's feeling trapped about money. He's feeling trapped about money. Maybe he feels that the feminine has trapped him. Or maybe he feels these three gossipers are in the way of him progressing with his values. You know, that's what I think it is. He's feeling trapped because he doesn't want the gossip thwarting his advances, you know. He's nervous that it's just like in my experience, stupidity is always far more dangerous than any real threat to your life, you know. And I think stupidity causes far more damage than stupidity causes more damage than any real threat. A real threat you can kind of confront, you know. You can confront a real threat, but you can't stop people from being stupid, like, you know. And so he's got this precious things, this precious it could be money or whatever, precious valuables, and he wants to put the precious valuables in the right places. But he's really nervous about this kind of toxic gossip that could thwart his path. So then we have this battered, very badly battered Four of Pentacles that just got wet and got swamped and lost the back of it. And has had a kind of karmic journey in and of itself. And so there's a character in the house, and this is for the feminine. So it's like the feminine is like kind of learned to kind of man the fortress a bit. Like maybe in the past the feminine has given away her power in this Tower card, the first card in. And so she's kind of learning to hold her own in the fortress, right? So she is kind of holding on to her own, and I you know, it could be seen as kind of clinging on to things as well, but I think given the situation, it's actually warranted, and I think it's warranted, and it's almost like almost like someone has to be let her out of the fortress or give her the all clear to you know, or shine a light on her path, you know, so that she knows she's safe and she's not under attack. And then we have the Lovers here, coincidentally, then at the end. And for the masculine, under the feminine's very dodgy Four of Pentacles, is it's funny because the Four of Pentacles came out for the masculine too here, you know. So the World came out for him. It's almost as if what imprisons the feminine, right? What imprisons the feminism frees the masculine. You know, so there's a kind of there's a kind of an irony here, like, so what's imprisoning the feminine is actually freeing the masculine. So I don't know, that's interesting. So the last card then is the Lovers and the King of Cups. So so Lovers and the King of Cups. So this is interesting. This is like another angel here, sweet angel here in the Judgment. Oh, we have another angel here at the last card. And well, it suggests that it's a Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, the masculine is, right? Because it's a male and it's his side. It's like that they're going to be blessed. It's like the you know the way they talk about Excalibur. So the masculine is carrying it's almost like the woman carries the sword, right? Until they marry, and then the masculine carries the sword. It's almost like the woman gives the masculine the sword once they're together. Do you know? Does that make any sense? And then the masculine can give the woman the pentacle once they're together. But it can't happen up until that point. And I think that's what the symbolism of the Excalibur is. You know, without reading into it too deeply. But it's like the sword is the feminine until, because the feminine carries her father's sword, if you know what I mean, until she marries, and then she gives the sword to, because the sword represents intellect, you know, and then she gives the sword to the masculine when she marries. So it's like you can't really steal a woman's sword until you can commit to her, you know. So like there's just interesting symbolism here, you know. But it's all very benevolent here at the end. And something about this character is kind of jolly as well. He's not as serious as the other kings. Or the emperor in this deck is very serious. So there's something kind of jolly about him, like he's capable of enjoying himself, like, you know, like the 9 of Cups at the start. But there's something about celebrations too in this. But it looks like a kind of rocky road to get there. So I'm here on 42 minutes. Okay. So I think that's it. I've exhausted all my resources. I'm just going to get a Moon Oracle card now to finish it off. That's it. That's the one. Okay, so the bottom of the deck is change. Changes. Thunder Moon. Turn to face the strange. Changes. So these are like albatross. And this woman has like a red dress or a cloth being pulled from her. And it looks like she's on the moon, or is that an egg? There's a kind of symbol of metamorphosis here anyway, and it says change and the thunder moon. So it's kind of electricity. And then there's the gratitude. Oh, so this is like an older hand with a baby's hand or a child's hand. So it's like learning to have gratitude, you know, have gratitude for the gifts that you get being here on the planet, no matter how much they thwart you into oblivion. Even, especially if they thwart you into oblivion. So this is kind of a reminder to have gratitude. So that's cool. I think that's a good finish. So that's it. Namaste.